Hi everybody, welcome back to the Over Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel, which is now part of 90 Minute Football Podcast Network. Evening boys, how are you all doing?
Yeah, I'm great, thanks.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Over Smiling Faces podcast. And as you can see, we have moved house. Ladies and gentlemen, Decker, tell them what we've got.
We've got a studio, you know.
Get in!
Get in!
So, finding out the bag,
We've been here for the last 2-3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
Building this.
Well, maybe you two are.
Can't take too much credit.
So,
We've been busy.
200 years in the comments. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been 5 years of a journey where we started off in my kitchen.
We did.
With just me and you, Mark.
We did, yes.
We've seen some faces come and go. Decker joined with.
Yeah.
There's a few faces I would have liked to have seen go tonight, but let's not talk about that.
So, Decker joined with how many years ago now? 3 years ago?
No, I think it's longer. I think it was the championship season, so was that not 4 years?
5.
Was it 5?
Five.
2016, 17.
So the podcast, actually I said 5, the podcast has been going nearly 7 years. Nearly 7 years. Bessie joined with last year?
2 years ago.
2 years?
Seasons, I think.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago. And so yeah, we've been at the Ashley. I just want to say thank you to the Ashley for accommodating us for so many years.
Good luck with opening tonight, Chris and Cheryl.
So yeah, we thought it was about time to take the next step, go a little bit more professional. So here we are. Thank you very much.
You've seen some nice, exciting features tonight as well.
Yeah, so more improvements across the board. So, boys.
Well, first things first. There wouldn't be a celebration without...
Oh, you're getting your cock out again.
7 inches apparently.
You've got to have a little bit of the bubble in.
Get in. Have you got?
So let's start like we mean to go on.
Have you got glasses?
Of course I've got glasses. I mean, come on. I couldn't get champagne, so I had to get the next best thing, which was a bit of Asti Spumante.
So everybody who is listening, if you have any sort of problems with audio, let us know. We do have Adam, the producer, back on board. We haven't seen him for a year because he hasn't had to do anything.
He's behind the camera in the sound booth as well.
He's back here, so just give us a shout and he'll fix any audio problems if you are experiencing anything. So, Mark, are you going to open that or not?
Yeah, no,
Shit. There's a camera gone straight away.
We're getting a video
Camera gone. Right, boys, Mark, pour that and we'll get started about some football. Or we could just sit here and...
Let's just get pissed.
That's always a shout from me. Like,
Yeah.
normally when I talk about football is when I get disappointed, right? Normally.
Yeah.
So what we got here, what's this?
Bit of
Asti
Asti Spumante.
Spumante.
Oh, right. Does he play right back, centre midfield?
It's Italian.
Oh, right.
Is it Italian?
Sounds Italian. I think it's Asti, isn't it? French.
Christ almighty. He's absolutely drowning best.
That's Italian. It's Italian.
Looks Hungarian from here.
Right, dish them out. Let's get going.
There we are. So,
Got a studio in there.
well, cheers, boys.
Yeah, all the best, lads.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you to everybody for your donations, your membership, everything that you've done, because this has made all of this possible. So thank you.
That smells rank, that.
Tastes better than smells.
It's not actually that bad. It's worse, actually.
Right, boys, let's get down to it.
It's alright. Bit sweet, like, isn't it?
Very sweet, that.
Bit sweet.
Right, let's get down to it. Let's talk some football. So, once again, Newcastle, towards the end of the season, we start playing football. So, up against Manchester City, as always for the last couple of weeks, who saw that coming? I know we lost the game. I'm not, like, obviously, of course we lost it, but Jesus Christ.
It was the manner we
give them
went
a
about
game.
the defeat, though, wasn't it? That was the biggest difference for me.
Yeah.
We actually tried, which, God, we haven't done that in a long, long time, have we?
So, does it take it right back to the start of the season where all these pundits were coming out and saying Newcastle need to realise what they are, the players that they have, they're not sort of that team. Does it just prove you, once again, that fans were probably right? That if putting these these players in a position where they're attacking and going forward, that we can score goals?
I wouldn't say they were attacking that much, really. It was
Scored 3 goals.
2 penalties, though.
2 penalties.
Oh, had to get in the box to get the penalties.
That is true. Like, that is true. But no, they were just really good on the break. Really, really effective on the break. I thought. I mean, I'm not really. You're not going to have much of the ball against Man City. I think they had something like it was. I saw a stat where Newcastle had something like 17% of the ball, and it's the first time a team's had that little of the ball but still scored 3. So I wouldn't say we took the game to Man City out like that, but we did. We did try and hurt them on the break. Certainly, we didn't. We've seen them play them before, where we sat back, got the ball, and just not tried to deal with it. Really.
Yeah.
The one I've got in mind was actually Rafael's manager.
Oh, how long's that been?
Oh, how long have you been in the new studio?
I thought this was the start of a new era.
Well, this time I'm actually kind of almost criticising him. Yeah, where we sat back a lot and didn't really look to kind of do anything. Whereas
In that particular game.
That was like what? That
Yeah.
was three 3 years ago now.
Something like that. Well, we'll beat them. They were beaten last season, the year before. Either way.
2-2 last season.
We,
It was a great game, that. Bruce, that was.
we really sat. We looked like we wanted to hurt them this time round by breaking forward Lamia on Willock, Sir Maximan, and Joe Linton. I got his goal.
To be fair though, the first 25 minutes was very much like that. They were just playing the ball around the edge of our box, trying to find a way in, and I thought we were going to be in for a very long night. And then we had a couple of breaks, like you say, where we got away. I think the first one was a long ball over the top where Saint went through and then got a little bit caught up on the edge of their box. And then the same for the penalty. Obviously, it was a long ball out to Saint away, and he went from there. And it kind of changed in those moments, in the positive for us. And then 4 minutes later, it changed again with them coming straight back into it. So
I think, like for me, I think the Leicester game, we're seeing it in the Leicester game where there seemed to be a plan there in regards to soaking up the pressure and then breaking. Do you know what I mean? And
it wasn't just relying on basically saying right, saying there's a ball, you get us
exactly. Because I didn't think Saint particularly had a great game. He was quite quiet, and there seemed to be a plan. I mean, I thought, I know people might disagree. I thought that was one of Willock's best games. I thought his running from midfield was absolutely superb. The timing of his runs, he was carrying the ball. And similar to the Leicester game, we looked a threat every single time we broke. And listen, you can go on about possession all night long, but you're playing against the best team in the world, right? Like you are, and I know it might not be their full strength team, like by any stretch, but you know they're going to keep the ball for the majority of the game. But I know you mentioned there about pundits saying this and that, and I think it does help though when Saint is on the field and Miggy's on the field. If you imagine, go back a couple of months when we didn't have Saint or Miggy, I know Wilson wasn't playing on Friday, but it's difficult when you lose them players, right? Because you can no longer play that counter attack because we haven't got the pace, we haven't got the ability. But I was thrilled the way we took the game to them at times. I agree with Bestie, we didn't take the game at them, sorry, but on the break at times we were pretty deadly. Like. So
you mentioned Willock, and last week we spoke about Willock and how fantastic he's been for us. And the more games that he has like that, and the more goals he scored, then it just makes me worried that Arsenal will be thinking, right, there's no chance we're going to let him go, even out on loan. Never mind sell him next season.
The noises coming out of Arsenal though are still that they're not that bothered about keeping him. That's from the club, the supporters. That's another matter.
But I'm pretty
sure
sure
what he can do.
I'm pretty sure I read a stat that since he's arrived at Newcastle, no Arsenal player has scored more goals than what he has.
Well, he's actually a record holder now because he's the youngest ever player to score in 5 consecutive Premier League games.
Really?
So that's a nice little.
Has he joined the CC record, hasn't he? As
He was on par. I think he was on par with
I think
CC
it's
last game.
Level with CC. Oh, has he gone ahead of CC now?
I'm pretty sure before he scored, I might be wrong, might have just been after he scored against City, but I'm pretty sure it was either on par or that goal would have took him one more.
And we all know CC's start. We had never seen anything like that. So for him to be in that bracket, and again since he come in January, do you know what I mean? And like to hit the ground running as well as he has. And I think that me and Bestie, I think we're agreeing on it that there were certain games where he was scoring, but we weren't really sure.
Wasn't bringing much.
You know, and I think people took that sometimes the wrong way. That I wasn't criticising him for that. It was just, what does he do other than get that goal? You know what I mean? But
I think
honestly, the last few games he's been tremendous.
We're at the point where we're thinking, what's his position? Because we're saying, is he a centre midfielder? But I think now, the last couple of games, then it's clear that he is that. I wouldn't say box to box because I know over the last few weeks we have been seeing that, but him in the final third has been fantastic.
That's what he likes to do. I mean, when he was getting his game in the Europa League for Arsenal, that's when he was scoring for them, was breaking forward. And that's where we're seeing we're getting the best out of him, where he is picking it up on the edge of the box and then he's just legging it and going with him. And
legging it.
Like you've just said for me.
We'll just turn it was Geordie's pocket when he's legging it.
Willock and Mickey were just brilliant, like you said, the way that they broke forward to support Saint and Joe as well. Like it was just lovely to see.
I was disappointed in Miggy, if I'm honest, with his actual distribution when he did all of the hard work. I thought of getting there so many times. He broke forward well, and it was just that final ball.
He doesn't always play it, does he? He holds on sometimes.
Yeah, and then the chance has gone to play it, and then But I agree with what you're saying, Mark, in terms of that.
Having said that, there was one in the first half, but he held on a bit too long. I think Joe Linton was through. He held on. And he got fouled.
He got fouled by Ake, didn't he?
Shelvey hit the crossbar. So I mean, but there's a few times where he's kind of got the ball and will look to break, and he just has another touch, and it takes the. It was something that would happen quite a bit. Cisse would always be caught offside, And quite often it was because Sissoko would have an extra touch on the ball
Yes.
and the run would be made. And it was really similar in that regard, I thought.
I know we're probably going to go slightly off topic this, but you see it quite a lot on Twitter where people's like, if there's a player offside, say whoever that may be, let's just for instance,
Always comes back to
Joe
CC,
Linton's
doesn't it?
offside. Yeah, it'll always come back to saying, well, CC's offside all the time, blah blah. But then,
Does
how
my
many
head in
times
that?
have we said
Does my
that?
head in?
If you had St James's Park, if you sat and watched CC, you could see his brain was ticking, thinking, right, I'm on his
100%,
shoulder here,
yeah,
and I'm away. And it was because of the players who had a hold of the ball that was so late in playing that ball that CC's football and brain was unbelievable, like getting in those positions and in those areas. And I just think it's a just service really to CC to say that he's offside, he was always offside, but yes, technically, if you look at the stats, then he would have been.
I think with VAR, he'd be fucked now. I don't think he scored a goal for it. If I mean, no, but I totally agree with you. I also think Lovenkrands is very similar. That off the ball, Lovenkrands' movement was amazing, and you need to have that player like the one Kabay then, right? And everyone wax lyrical about Kabay, rightfully so, really.
But when you're that type of player with pace, you're playing on the shoulder, you expect that, don't you? Because it's fine margins.
Well, Sissy, I don't want to say was blessed with pace by any stretch, but
far from
he
it.
was,
In his movement, I mean, not like in
was-
a straight
He
line.
was instinctive, wasn't he? I think he just knew where to be a lot of the time. Like
Yeah,
that.
of course he was.
Well, how many times have we said if you got CC one-on-one from the halfway line, you just don't fancy him.
Yeah.
We mentioned, I think, was it last week with Callum Wilson's goal against
Leicester.
where he's one-on-one against Schmeichel, you think, he scored this. Where CC, you'd see him and you think, oh God, something's going to happen here. Like,
You're right.
That's having too much time to
But
think,
if
isn't it?
it drops them 40 yards out on the volley, I fancy him.
he was really instinctive. He was fantastic. It was so entertaining. I love him.
Speaking of players being in the instinct of being in the right position, bloody Torres on Friday night.
Well, I think we might as well move on to the first goal.
What I will say before we do that, it was you just mentioned there, Shelvey's free kick. We were 1-0 up at that point, and that free kick came just after that.
Yeah.
Imagine if that had gone in.
Carson's beaten as well. He's
all
over
ends
here,
up.
right? Yeah,
I mean, he's at full length going
it's a
for it.
great
Like,
free
but
kick.
Yeah,
Fair play to
So
him.
let's go to the goals. Obviously, I'm saying obviously, but really hell, Emil Kraft.
Obviously,
Emil Kraft scored. But Jesus,
Another one.
great header as well.
Very good.
Let's
Took
be
it really
honest
well.
with
Just
you.
put it again.
It's,
Sims puts it back across the goal. Carson does nothing wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Nothing.
He's really
I
lucky.
felt a bit sorry for him because obviously his first game. What was it? 10 years. In the Premier League, something
Apparently,
ridiculous
his
like
last
that.
game in the Premier League was
Against Newcastle.
Was it the 3-3 draw when
Was it West-
Solomon
was it
Choi
West Brom?
scored a hat trick?
Was it?
They said 10 years ago, and I kind of it might really bad maths in my head. I think that one we won 3-0 up, and they 3-3 and went and finished 11th, 9th or something.
His last game was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, he's been a
Because
derby.
The stat came up and said that his
That was
last
Brom.
Premier League game was
His
West
last
Brom v
Premier League game
Newcastle.
was when he was 25 years old.
Yeah, he's just been sitting there.
Must have been,
watching.
That's mental.
Just
But
stroking his dick.
he was a derby for a bit, wasn't he? He was a derby
Unbelievable.
for a few years.
He was.
West Brom.
Sorry,
Did West Brom get?
I said it out loud, didn't I?
We're saying that like in surprise. Steve Harper sat on the bench for 25 years.
That's true.
True.
He got a testimonial as well.
Right, so obviously, I'm saying obviously again, but it wasn't obvious.
All right, yes, calm down.
I think. Well, it was a great header.
Fantastic header.
Again, Aki's header in thin air. Aki had a shocker.
Yeah, a terrible
Didn't
game.
he? I
Terrible
mean,
game,
in the two, I think the opening 2 goals we got, he had an absolute shocker on
He's a
both
funny
goals.
one because
He is.
at times he was a very good defender in that game. And I do think he is a very good defender, but he just had some
He's been
absolute
outdone.
shocking moments, like, didn't he?
Costs more than Jordan as well.
Yeah,
didn't
he was
41
expensive.
million, 41 million, yeah. 40 million too much. But Kraft said I was brilliant, and I think the way he took it was class. Carson kind of didn't know about it. In fairness, it was against the run of play, right?
Yeah. More under the cosh.
But
at
to
that
be
point.
expected, I mean, you're not kind of dominate these guys, are you? Do you know what I mean? But we went 1-0 up and happy days. Like, and as we just mentioned, the Shelvey incident there, I mean, that could have went 2-0. It could have, right? It almost hit the
That was an
bottom
Ake
of the
foul
box
as well, wasn't it?
It
It was
was,
actually
yeah.
a good push.
Yeah. I had a shocker. I had a shocker.
Yeah. People who are watching, I do just obviously, normally when we're all recording these in my house, we can put things on the screen. But at this moment in time, we can't, so I do apologise for that one because there are comments coming in. There's donations coming in. Anybody who has donated, thank you very much so far. We will get around to yours.
This is what you've been buying.
Yeah, this is what you're helping out with. Obviously, the more money we make, the better this gets, basically.
No, I'm not doing it.
Do you want more?
Do you want more? Jesus.
Christ, it's awful.
He's got a taste for it.
Yeah.
I think it's quite nice.
It's horrible.
Thank you very much. If you do, well, if you're new to the channel, if you do want to like and subscribe to this, it means the world to ourselves. Everybody who has become a member over the last 12 months, thank you very much. Because without your membership and donations, then this wouldn't have happened. So thank you very much.
I wouldn't have had to drive all the way to fucking Gateshead.
Stop telling people
Don't
where
tell
we're
them where
at.
our secret headquarters are.
This is an underground bunker, man. Nobody knows it. Fucking feels like an underground
enough, I tell you
bunker. Sundowners next
It's
week.
quite hot with all these lights, isn't it?
Gates in the doors.
Good job you're wearing that hat, mate.
It'll be
It's
dripping
bouncing
off
off your
us.
head.
Dripping off us. Right, so Newcastle, how long are we in the lead
4 minutes.
before we get pegged back? And
Go on, we hit the ball in the meantime before.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
we hit the bar and
Cancelo scored, didn't he?
yeah. So was their first goal the deflection?
Deflection.
The
of the
deflection,
feet.
right?
Edge of the
Okay.
box.
And
And-
right to shoot from there, yeah. Well, anyway.
Exactly, but once again, how many times we're in this position where stop? Do you know what it is? I'm getting a bit bored of saying if we stop the shots, then we won't concede. But it works the same way, doesn't it?
But was that,
Because that team
it
stopped
was that same thing again where, like we've spoke about week on week on week, where our midfield just stand in the box and they stood there and then they watched the ball get played because they had it on the byline and he then played it back to the edge of the box and we're just all standing there looking.
You've been watching the judo lads
Hits it
upstairs,
back
watching it. They lost some powers.
But he just shoots from on the corner, doesn't it? Takes a massive deflection because it's not going in without that deflection, is it?
It's
Unlike
cute as
watching
ball.
a Pep's team, isn't it? Like that, to shoot from there. That's not
Oh,
what
it's
you
not,
would
like,
expect from a
just
Pep.
pass,
They would
pass,
normally
isn't it?
go back and start again. But
Yeah.
for him to think, oh, I'll have a go from here, it's ridiculous.
Well, that's because he had the space because everybody was in the box standing off him.
I actually, was it Jacob Murphy it hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's poor on his behalf, in my opinion, the way that he turns away from it. I mean, you learn that
You'll
with
see
school,
that,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you stand up. You've got to stand square.
exactly.
Yeah.
You swear, he like jumps out the way of it, and I know you're going to laugh here because I'm having a go at Jacob Murphy. I'm not. It's just
Don't
well,
worry.
gently,
Don't worry. I'll be having a go at him for the second goal.
But I just thought that, like, you learn that in school. You know, you stand up square and take it in the chin, take it wherever. But he kind of like, do you know what I mean?
It's because you're wider. I mean, I certainly am. You know, if you turn that sideways on, then you're narrowing the kind of. It's why a wall stands facing the ball, not sideways on. Like, you know, it
It's
is.
that goes right in the corner, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's unlucky. It's very unlucky.
right
But
in
he
the
should.
corner.
But really, he should do better than that.
If you're that bloke off Bullseye, what did he used to be called? If he turned sideways, he'd
Jim
say,
Bourne
well,
was. Jim Bourne was.
No, the one that used to go.
Bully.
Bully special
Tony-
prize. Like what?
Tony Green.
Yeah.
Tony Green.
He was wider when he turned sideways. You know what I mean? He used to have that. He did. He was like a capital D.
Hey, God, Bulls.
How we got in a bullseye?
I've got no idea.
Jesus, right? Okay.
Team talk this.
I know. Remember bullseye?
Well, you know.
It's a Peter Kate.
Well, you know. Well, you know, Gary.
What was that? Right.
Rest of that Italian stuff in a minute.
We're all giddy tonight.
So it's 1-1, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember what happened after that.
So what happened?
Did we
after
take the
that?
lead again?
No,
Oh, they done that.
They
little
got the
flick
free
shot.
shot.
This is. Oh,
The lovely finish.
It is.
It is, but
Oh, yeah, we'll go.
But
as you've just mentioned, Jacob Murphy. What is he doing there? He's the man at the front, first man, and he just stands rooted to the spot. Doesn't move. Stands there like that.
Shelvey,
The ball, and
Oh,
then
here we go.
Shelvey is behind him,
Yeah.
and then he just lets Torres get in front of him, and hands up from that point on. Torres with the flick. It is a very good finish, but
High feet.
we should be defending that better. Murphy should be on his toes, not standing flat-footed, and being able to clear that ball.
Is this the problem playing in the position he's playing, that he's not defensively sound enough?
But it's from a free kick, and you're the first man.
Maybe
You've got to be switched on to that. You know
But
it's
then
going to be
you-
flashed into the box.
You would see the same for the first goal as well, wouldn't you? You know, in terms of just not being defensively switched on, as Bessie's saying, take it square on rather than turning your back. You've got the second goal. Arguably, it is his fault. I actually thought Shelvey could have been to blame as well. Like, but the finish itself, I mean, there's not many players probably.
No,
gonna do that.
it is a very, very clever finish, but
Yeah.
I'm just disappointed that we had two players there that could have cleared that danger had they been more alert to it.
Yeah. That's a fair comment, yeah. And it's typical Newcastle. I never think we conceded a good goal. To be honest.
But I think there's probably a Man City podcast recording now saying, "Oh, those three goals we conceded with disgrace," or something like that, because it's Scousers
Because
that
the
recorded
Liverpool fan recorded it. Them Scouse Man City fans.
If we're doing the blame thing, I actually thought, I don't think it would have made a difference, but Dubravka seemed to go for his wrong hand. He went,
Aye.
but then I think it's already over him, so it's just you're all blaming somebody, and I can't remember it, so I'm going to blame him, even though I like him. I'll blame Carl Darlow, fuck him.
do you want to blame Murphy?
No, not really. I know Marx is to be fair, I'd probably have to say it again. probably have to see
Unplug
it.
your mic and put it back in. Sorry, people who are listening. Apparently Mark's been banging on the table too much and you've knackered your microphone. Great start.
You were chopping earlier. You got your phone a couple times.
Hello, testing, testing. Can you hear me?
So we're all trying again. So apologies if the audio has crackled a little bit. At that point where they score that goal, it is a fantastic goal. Let's be honest with it. Very instinctive. And Dubravka just loops him, doesn't it? Just loops him slightly.
He's very unlucky. He can't do anything with it. Like, I mean,
If you look at certain angles, you think, surely Dubravka should do better than that. But it's just...
I think there's one angle that you would think that.
Yeah.
But I think when you see it in real time, you say, that's a hell of a goal.
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah,
100%. At that point, you think, right, they're just going to go on now and absolutely run
definitely
wild.
Yeah, you don't come back from against Man City, Newcastle especially. Just don't come back against Man City like that. But was it 2-1 at half time? I think it was, wasn't it?
No.
No,
No, it was 2-2.
Yes,
He scored straight up
got
the
a penalty.
right,
Now, go on. Go on, you go. Because I've got me concerns about this. As an England
You've got your
fan,
concerns about
as
it.
an England fan rather than Newcastle fan.
Right, okay. We're still having audio issues.
What do you want for winning the Euro 2020 here?
We'll just mute Mark for a second and we'll try and figure out whose audio it is that's crackling. I've got a feeling it's you. Right, so just before half time, we get the penalty, but it goes through VAR first of all. So we hit on the break once again, and I think, is it Saint who the ball gets played through to? And it's just beyond the halfway line. Just beyond the halfway line. And we'll go through, and it's Joe Linton who gets... Well, he basically stands
He kind
on somebody's foot, and he just gets dragged with him.
He slides in, and he...
Yeah.
I've got to credit where it's due, and I know that we'll probably get loads of people thumbs down when we're here for... Because St. Joe Linton's anything but shy, but he does really well to beat his man before he gets taken down. Mm-hmm. He kind of drops his shoulder and I don't know how he does it with his feet because he can't really see, but he gets to do really well. But yeah, Aki slides and it's just as Joe Linton's planting his foot and he's gone. He's
gone.
It's a definite penalty, absolutely.
I think it was Willock's run that allowed Joe Linton in because he kind of ghosts in.
I can't remember, does he? I was so
Willock's right up there on the right, and then Joe comes in late.
I was so transfixed by J9 that I couldn't take my eyes off him. But it wasn't his
J9.
goal. It was the second penalty that I've got the.
But when the referee first blew, I thought he'd give the penalty straight away, but then he pointed back,
for offside,
and then it was like the linesman had flagged for offside, and it was like, But
yeah.
thankfully VAR.
But at what point did you think that they were trying the hardest to rule Saint offside? Because how many times did they check that? And there was nowhere near offside.
It takes far too long, given how far onside he was. I mean, we'll compare it. We'll go ahead a little bit about at least for their third goal. Even now, I think he might have been offside. Him, and the fourth it was the volley, and it just wasn't. Is he offside? And they literally on the telly they went, "Is it?" Nah, he's probably not offside. It'll be all right. But for that one, to Maximin's...
They put lines on the screen and I was like, he is onside by a mile.
The Ben Chilwell goal in the cup final was done and dusted quicker than that.
Yeah, that's very true.
And that was really borderline. I mean, that wasn't even now, because there's that thing about when's the ball played, and it's not a cup final podcast. It's got Newcastle, of course, it's not.
Yet.
But there's a thing in the Ben Chilwell one where there's kind of someone said, look at the ball, because here's the screen that they've used, look at the ball, and the ball's like that long. Right. Because it's come off his foot, and you know how he got the 24 frames per second, whatever it is. And if you take it just before that, he's probably onside. So at which point is the ball played? You know, because that's the earliest frame they've got. But in this, I mean, the maximum was nothing like that. He was about. He got a foot onside at least.
He timed it really well. I mean, Aki tried to step up, didn't he? In that second, but obviously did it too late, and then we're
so Aki's the one that plays Saint onside, then gives a penalty away as well.
Terrible game.
Like what a game! But Richie gives the ball to Joe. I'm not sure if Joe asked for it or Richie just picks it up and says, "You're taking this," to get his confidence up.
My arse was going there.
I swear to God, I think at the point, and obviously sitting watching it when Joe's walking towards the penalty spot with that ball, I'm thinking, Joe, why are you doing this to yourself? I'm thinking, why? It takes some bollocks, let's be honest with him. Yeah. The position saying, he must realise.
I was willing him to score, but I was nervous.
I was talking to Amy because me and I says, as long as he hits a target, I'm okay with it. I don't really mind, just hit the target. If you miss, you miss, and it's a far worse penalty.
But I'm at that point and I'm thinking, Joe, like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like, why are you putting yourself in that position?
He backs himself, like.
Exactly. On the other hand, you're thinking, good on you for doing that.
The commentator did say Richie had missed his last two.
But Joe had missed his. Like, he's only took 3 penalties and he's missed 2 of them.
Yeah.
So he hasn't got a great conversion rate there, but what a fantastic penalty that is.
Right in the side netting, isn't it? plenty of power. I mean, keeper's gone the right way.
I think
He's not far off it.
Like Chris said, Scott Carson didn't really put a foot wrong all game. He's conceded 3 goals.
Yeah, he can't save that. It's like Amiobi, Amiobi used to hit the side net, and it was like I think I showed that, but I think it was the power that he generated for me. The power he generated was incredible. All right.
Is your audio working now? Is audio? All right. Okay. Sorry.
We're all
I'm
right.
just double checking because there's
right.
still a few people saying, "Mark, will you please stop moving? Because every time you move,
Are you sure it's not someone saying,
You're not
"Mark, will you
in your
stop
mic."
talking?
well,
You know what it is?
Yeah.
I thought I was playing footy with Mark earlier, but there's cables galore.
oh, it might be
So it
you.
might be-
It might be
Possibly
you
I.
with the
Let's do
cables.
the cables.
Aye.
We do need to pin those cables up. So
I thought I'd be foot up his trousers leg and all sorts. Like, but,
Well, it's because these cables were a late addition, weren't they? We had to get some new ones because of
yeah.
they hadn't lasted.
So
lasted
remember,
lockdown.
we may have teething issues. It's a first run out, so we may have teething issues. But apparently it's sorted now. So we're going half time, 2-2. Absolutely fantastic strike of the ball by Joe Linton. And like we said, credit to him for having the bollocks to really putting himself in that position. Because if he misses that, Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I didn't think he was capable of hitting the ball that hard.
Oh, clean in it.
Because like loads of times when we're watching him, he
Scuffs
tries
out of it,
it,
yeah.
scuffs out.
Yeah, he doesn't quite, yeah.
Really.
He did put his
twats
foot
that.
through it, like.
Twats it. Twats it.
I think we'll leave it the first half of that, I think.
Yeah, he twats
Thunder
it.
bastard of a penalty.
It's a great hit, mind. It's a really, really good hit. Like.
Brilliant, yeah, brilliant.
No, it is, and this is what annoys us. And there's people now saying, yeah, Newcastle got 2 penalties, but we've got to be in those positions to get those penalties.
Yeah.
Like you have to like be in the area and tackling.
Yeah, I think Martin Hardy. Did you see Martin Hardy put something on saying like almost having a go that people are getting carried away because of getting 2 penalties, and I'm like, oh man, we can't even celebrate fucking scoring goals now. Like we can't even celebrate
like
getting a
Bessie
penalty.
said there, you've got to be
Give her a break.
in the box to get the penalties.
Yeah.
I did not say that, but I'll take it.
No, Chris said that.
What was that for? Was you?
What did I say?
About
You've
being,
got to be in the box to get the penalties.
you don't buy a ticket and all that.
Exactly. I do just want to say thank you to Subterranean and Jason Hobby who have started a bidding war between themselves. Jason Hobby.
Jason must be flush again.
Back again. He must payday must have been the last few days. He started a bidding war. Thank you everybody for donating. Right, so half time comes and goes, and no changes if I remember right. Coming out the second half, just as it was. And what's your thoughts on the second half? Because I feel as if we did take a foot off the gas a little bit.
It's normal Newcastle, though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is obviously, one thing I will say to go from behind, and I'm going to jump forward, sorry, but to go from behind and then be all of a sudden ahead against City is quite incredible. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's not many teams that will be 2-1 down, go 3-2 up like against City. We'll talk about the.
You expect City to come out that second half, don't you?
Absolutely.
After, because Pep will have been doing his nut.
100%.
That we've been allowed to get back into that game, even obviously we're taking the lead, but coming back into it to then go 2-2 at half time, he'll be raging at them.
My only worry with us is I say this every week. I do feel that our fitness levels aren't great, and I still felt like when I was watching the game, I just thought we looked tired, we looked sluggish. Again, after about an hour, like 65 minutes, 70 minutes, again, just looked a bit tired for me. Like, and I don't really know why. I don't know what it is. I mean, I'm not going to get into a Bruce match already, but like, is the training methods right or not? But I just felt we looked like we were flat. I know we took the lead. I get that, but I just always feel.
Do you not think it's
flat.
just the way that we play though? Because obviously it is bursts of pace, having to hit them on the break and stuff like that, and obviously when you are under the cosh, you're not using a lot of physical energy, but you mentally you've got to be on and stuff like that to keep it really tight and moving and that kind of thing. Whether that plays into it.
Yeah, when you are chasing the ball down constantly because they're just passing it around you.
Yeah.
And then as you've mentioned there, when we do break, it's just a sheer 100-metre sprint, isn't it? Every couple of minutes we're wanting that from the certain players. It is tough, like I suppose. Right.
So you mentioned sprinting. And from certain players.
No,
and
I'm not having this.
I think now is probably the time.
I'm not having this.
So on social media, we saw the recent stats. I do want to say it's miles covered, and who was top of the list? So Joe Willock was top, and the next Newcastle United player was Shelvey, if I remember right. There's been a little bit of debate just by us before we started recording. And you can probably guess who the debate was between. So I'll just let you two go with this one. So Deck, I put it on social media saying people. Well, you didn't put it on, but you quote tweeted saying certain fans.
If I'd have been King of Northumbria, I would have put it on. He's actually he's actually Shelvey in disguise.
Is he?
He is,
right, okay.
100%.
So,
That's the beast dad.
Decker quote tweeted saying certain people won't be happy with this, or something similar to the lines of that.
And the comments reflected that.
The comments did. The comments certainly reflected that. So Shelvey covers quite. I don't know how to say this. I would sound like a dick, but Shelvey, he's second on the list for Newcastle United players.
I'll tell you what. I would rather believe my eyes watching the game than a figure on a piece.
We've got to remember, you were the person that said defensive headers don't count.
Yeah, you also said that to go to a nice summer lodge in the National Lampoon's Christmas film. Yes.
And you also said...
So are you trying to tell me you see John Joe Shelvey covering every blade of grass on that pitch?
I don't watch him for 90 minutes straight. Like, the camera's not always on him. You're following the ball.
My point I was trying to make before we started was, let's say that stat didn't exist, that we didn't know about it, and I said to you, do you think Shelvey has covered the second most distance of an outfield player? I think you probably said Dubravka covered
probably.
So from and I'm not saying he's sprinting all the time. I'm not saying that. But
absolutely not.
If you honestly told me before a game he's covered more distance or whatever the hell it is, crawling or whatever, than Almiron, I literally couldn't believe it.
No,
but he has.
You'd say Almiron and probably a wing backs you'd expect would cover a lot of ground as well.
100%. I thought Richie would, honestly.
Yeah.
So back to you. Sorry. So there you go, silence wins. So there you
So,
go.
my only explanation as to how this happened is
It'll be wrong.
Pre-match, John Joe Shelvey and Miggy Almiron were sitting next to each other in the changing room. And when no one was looking, Shelvey got his little monitor, switched it with Miggy, and put Miggy's on and put his on Miggy.
So then Shelvey was the third fastest then?
Even then, Shelvey's still...
and then he went, oh, hang on. No, I can't let Miggy's. So he then got Miggy's and swapped Miggy's with Saint.
Yeah, no, but do you know what I mean though? So if that was the case then, Shelvey's the third fastest, because Almiron was just below him. It's listen.
Not fastest.
Well, no, just
covered the most distance. It's a lot. To be fair, he probably walked across that 18-yard box quite a few times.
You cannot walk and then clock up as being the second fastest player. Sorry, apologise. Distance, sorry.
Of course you can.
You're pushing it there, Jack. I say the fastest.
No, I didn't mean that.
You'll just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I've covered more distance there than you have.
Yeah, but over 90 minutes though.
And I've just done a little dance.
If Almiron's sprinting, as he probably is, right? Almiron for 90 minutes, and Shelvey's just walking, there is no way he's going to cover the same amount. It's impossible. He has to run sometimes.
It's true. That's
So,
why
I'm not
that's why the circumference of a circle is wider than a straight line. So it's all those circles that Shelvey goes in, passing from one side to the other.
I'm really lost in where this conversation's
you
gone.
You can't go back from Dran to Norwich and all that, or the train to Norwich or whatever it was.
I'm really lost by that
listen,
one.
I was shocked, and I'm not saying all of a sudden that Shelvey's the best midfielder in the world. I'm not. I'm just saying it's surprising. And
it's very surprising.
It is, and everyone says he's lazy, he doesn't run, he doesn't do this.
He
was the second, he covered the second most distance, which astounds me.
He didn't run though.
You see, you just cannot have it, can you?
But it doesn't say that he ran or he was. He just said he covered the most distance.
I thought Shelvey would just stand still.
He walked up to take a couple of corners and a couple of free kicks. That's covering distance.
Do you think that counts?
Yeah, of course it does.
It will count.
Okay,
it does count. Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay.
But so running from the edge of our box up to the corner flag 5 times. That's a big difference. Distance.
So Bestie, you won't know this because you didn't listen to Ryan Taylor podcast. And probably still haven't, mate. You only had months. But Ryan Taylor actually says he knows players that when they knew the stats were going to get monitored in training, that they would run to the changing rooms, then back out, and if they're taking throw-ins, they'd walk to get the ball, pick the ball up and stuff like that, because they knew no matter what point of a training match or anything it was, that it was getting recorded. So they used to do that. You used to think, players that during matches they weren't making any distance, but in training they were racking the miles up massively because they knew how to play the game sensibly. I'm not saying Shelvey was doing that.
Well, it would explain also why Shelvey says that he's the hardest worker in training from his stats as well.
Stats don't lie.
Stats don't lie. So what we're actually saying is Shelvey knows how to fiddle his monitor, doesn't he?
He knows to fiddle.
He's hacked his monitor. Or maybe it's like, like the old Fitbits and like Apple Watches you used to get. Whereas when you wore them, you just used to shake them like that.
Like
you go like that, and it would say, "Oh, there you are, 10,000 steps." Oh, there's another 10,000 steps. That's what he's doing.
Well, I
He's
think
monitor.
we'll have Mark got 10,000 steps a day.
Jesus
It
Christ.
doesn't work now, I don't think.
Jesus, what you did?
Red Bull.
But that's the only explanation as to how Shelvey's covering the most.
Does it
distance,
surprise you
like.
Joe Willock was first? I mean, in the match. He was top, period.
Nah, because he did cover a lot of ground. Like, his lung busting runs forward.
I
We're
will say...
from very deep into
without
their
having
box.
without having the stat, if someone, who do you think in the entire game was number one, I don't think I would have picked Willock. Not that I didn't think he was lazy or anything like that, far from it. But that's really impressive. Though.
Yeah.
It's not though, I mean, when you haven't got the ball yet, I think we kind of alluded to it earlier when Mark was saying you've got to be like mentally, but you have got to cover a lot of ground when you're chasing the ball, you've got to get in a position and stuff. So I'd imagine Willock, Almiron would be my two guesses, maybe the wing backs, as I say.
Yeah.
Murphy and
Richie.
Matt Ritchie, but I certainly wouldn't have said Shelvey.
No.
I was right there. But yeah, but I mean, was it something like 11 kilometres in 90 minutes?
Somewhere around
And
there.
you can't just walk 11 kilometres, can you?
Well,
6 mile? You probably can, like I would.
I
No, I'm not saying that he was. You know,
I think I could carry a flag that far.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. Shelvey couldn't do that.
What happened to those flags?
you've got to see the back of the stadium, wouldn't it?
Decker's probably still carrying them.
Right, so then we'll go goal down.
Well, we'll go goal up. We'll go 3-2 because we got the penalty. We go 3-2 up.
Yeah, we went.
I've already 3.
It's
Oh,
2-2.
did we?
Yeah,
I thought it was.
yeah.
Oh,
No, that's what I'm
right,
saying, we
okay.
went 2-1
Sorry.
down.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
we-
you're right.
because we went ahead, then
Ignore
they
me.
did, then we
Yeah,
did, then they did,
ignore me.
right.
So they got 2 in quick succession
was just
after
a-
that. Yeah,
Sorry,
sorry.
It was one of them, like...
It was strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a penalty, but you're like... It's just a
It was
needless
stupid
one
by
from Walker,
Walker,
isn't it?
wasn't it?
That's what Walker has in his locker, I'm afraid.
That was what I was concerned about with England, because it's just he does it and he's done it a few times this season and he just goes like, oh no, and he just walks away and there's no kind of it's just careless. It's
Well,
really
And
careless.
it's funny, you watch him in the Champions League, which I did against Mbappe, and he absolutely had him in his pocket the whole game.
Yeah.
And then he has this moment of just stupidness, trying to win a ball, or I don't know, do whatever he's trying to do, and it's just a penalty straight away.
I think you've got to give it's Willock again,
Willock,
isn't it?
yeah,
Joe Willock, yeah.
You've got to give Willock credit again because he beats him.
No,
he
yeah,
does beat him.
he does,
He does obviously. It's a ridiculous
It's a nice
challenge.
little
It is
move down the
needless.
wing, isn't it?
There's he's going. He's like
He's off the pitch. He's basically
Pretty
going off
much.
the field. He's going off the field, but it's absolutely brain dead by Walker.
It is
But
sick.
for Willock, it's once again he's just showing that eagerness to get into the box.
Yeah.
Well, those two of them together. It was him and Almiron. I think both kind of had a half a second where they didn't seem to know who was going to take it on. And Willock just can't see I will,
Yeah.
and that's how he kind of again you see the eagerness.
Did it seem like a game where I know Man City did make changes? They were given a handful of players chances.
About 5 changes
yeah,
or something.
so they did make
But still, that's
changes.
still a bloody good team.
Of course, it is. We'll know that their second, third team would be a good team. But do you think it felt like a game from them where it wasn't typical Manchester City in regards to defensive displays? Because they didn't look arsed a lot of the time. And like you just mentioned there, Walker, they're giving the penalty away. It was like, nah.
And he hadn't played the last few games, hasn't he? He's been out.
Walker,
Yeah.
is he?
I think if you, let's just say that game, them had to win it to stay in the title race.
Yeah, different.
You know,
Yeah.
their entire attitude would have probably been different. So I'll give you that one, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I don't wanna
coming
take-
off
I
the
wanna
back
take
of
that
obviously
too.
the Champions League as well, aren't they? And Guardiola made some comment about that in his after-match chatter out that maybe they were a little bit hungover from that and that kind of thing, because I think he said that they'd had some pizza and beer on the way back.
Yeah, well, they'd won the league in that meantime.
Yeah.
So no doubt
That's right, yeah.
celebrating. There's
Then
no
obviously,
question.
championship as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And then obviously, well, my question to you was, did you think Joe Linton was going to take the second penalty? Because he was still on the field.
Yeah.
I did, yeah. I really did.
I've heard afterwards what happened, but
I would have probably thought it would have went back to the likes of a designated
Ritchie.
penalty taker who's Matt Ritchie. As far as I know, I'm pretty confident it's Matt Ritchie who takes our penalties.
Apparently, this, I don't know if this what you were, Decker, but apparently they were saying because Joe Linton won it, he took that penalty, and then Willock won that one, which is why he took it.
when I takes it.
so I heard and then I also heard I don't know, I could be wrong here, but I heard that Bruce had said something that in South America or whatever it is, Joe Linton has this rule that if you've took one, you don't take a second no matter what or something, and it's a rule that he has in South America or something like that. I'm not saying that's. I'm sure someone said Bruce had said that in his interview.
Yeah, I think I heard that, and someone about half an hour later put a video on Twitter of some Brazilian player scoring 2 penalties. And it's one of those ones where like it's Bruce says something, so someone goes, right, we're going to prove him wrong.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine like say Ronaldo,
Yeah.
Brazil wouldn't be giving it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But
So
it would normally
Unless it's just something Joe Linton
But
does.
then this is another thing that I noticed as well. I don't know if you went on Twitter when we got that penalty, sorry, the one you're on about. Everyone was kicking off about Joe Linton. And like, we've just won a penalty to go ahead 3-2 and everyone's having to go with Joe Linton. And I'm like, Christ almighty, like, why be so negative? Like, you know, we've got an opportunity to take the lead here, and your first thought is Joe Linton's an arsehole, should be taking that. Why is he bottling? I'm like, are you really?
To be fair,
in that moment, thinking
maybe
that?
there's something in that. Like as the taker, you think, right, I've already taken one. Right, where am I going to put it? Am I going to put it in the same place? So is the keeper going to go that way, or do I swap it to the other side? Then the keeper's going to. But like you say, so it is maybe a little bit of. In your head, that's what am I going to do? But Harry Kane, Shearer, something like that.
The image that came on the screen when Joe Linton took his penalty was he's gone in the same direction every single time. The three previous were exactly almost the same spot. Then his fourth one, which he scored, is the same side, but obviously absolutely tucks that in. Yeah. So chances are he was going to go to that side anyway. But Willock takes it, and it's a poor penalty. Like it's a really, really poor penalty. It does really well.
Well, you say that unless the keeper goes the other way.
Well, that's it. You get penalties. You get
but the keeper goes the same way for Joe
Linton's. But you get those penalties where you get them scored. Probably half the ones that'll get taken like that, going back in the net, and that's good. The keeper's gone the wrong way. It's good. Yeah. It's if it's on target. I mean, exceptions like Panenkas and stuff like that, like the keeper catches. I think as long as it's on target and it's kind of towards a corner, it's not that bad a penalty normally.
You've got a 50-50 chance, haven't you? Because the keeper's going to commit yourself one way or another.
I didn't think it was in the corner. I thought it was an absolute dreadful penalty.
Three quarters of the way in, wasn't it?
And in fairness to him, like he slips as well, right?
He does really well after that. Really well.
Oh, I was like, he's even slipped as well. They're going to nick it, and he scored, which he did really well. To be fair,
he does.
It's been a relief
really well
in his celebration.
He takes it really calmly as well. Once he regains his footing, he just taps it in really well.
Yeah.
But it was a poor penalty, but thankfully he got the rebound.
Yeah, especially obviously like you just mentioned that he slips on the run up for the rebound, then he still gets himself and buries that one. And
it shows his eagerness though, doesn't he? He wants to score goals.
He does it. He wants to succeed, and he's been given that chance now. What's it? The last 2-3 games he started last two because we played Arsenal's third game, so the last two. Yeah. And he's been great. He has been great, and
it's been a fabulous loan signing.
Like I said at the he's up there with
whoever it was. I mean, I didn't really know much about him, if I'm being really honest with you, when we signed him. And
I would probably say I was quite underwhelmed with that, thinking he'll get a few games, not thinking anything more than that.
Well, when you look at the young players that Arsenal's got, he's not at the top of my list as if who I'd want to bring in on loan. But the ones that you would, they get regular games for Arsenal, whereas he was just getting the real Smith Rowe and I saw Maitland-Niles, them kinds of.
I saw someone on Twitter on Saturday make the point that the first choice was Chowdhury at Leicester.
That's right.
Yeah, it was.
That's right. The fact that didn't go through worked really well for both because he's just won the FA Cup and we've got Willock who scored 6 or 5 and 5.
And it's weird because they're very different players as well.
They are very different.
Chelsea's is like much more defensive. It was probably because of Hayden getting injured that we went after him.
Yeah, well, I'd imagine that.
But I'm glad that fell through, really.
Because that wasn't the player we needed, was it? Was a Chowdhury, a sitting midfielder. We need someone that is willing to get the ball and take it to teams or run to the end of the box.
I think we need both. We need a better.
True, yeah.
We need a better centre midfield.
Yeah, we definitely. I agree with you. I just think like my initial thought would be like Hayden. I know Hayden got injured, but I mean Hayden can do that role, or we'll have someone to do that role. Yeah. It's going the other way, and them 6 goals.
Well, how often have we sat? Well, not sat here, but sat in this environment. Sat on with Zoom calls and talked about not replacing Mo the Army, and touch wood, we might actually have a player that's fulfilling that role at the minute.
Let's just hope we can keep him for next season. That's the bottom line. I don't know if we'll sign him permanently, but certainly another year's loan would be nice.
It's got to be. That's got to be our number one business to take care of, isn't it?
I mean, the first year we had Kennedy. I mean, I know the second season was pretty catastrophic, but it was a loan that worked. So they said, right, we'll do it again. Yeah. So I mean, it speaks volumes as to kind of our expectations for the club and where the club are. We really hope we get a young lad in on loan.
It does, Bessie, but I think we'll go back to obviously Kennedy's loan signing when obviously he first came on board, and Willock has surpassed that massively because Kennedy, yes, he was good and he was like obviously on the front foot all the time, taking the game to obviously the opposition. But with Willock, he's actually doing the business. He's scoring goals.
Yeah, he is. Like that.
So let's not forget though, Willock did have a period of 3-4 games before this run where he wasn't great.
Well, Brighton,
he was out of the games.
You've got to remember, like we're looking back on those games, but it's games where we weren't trying to win games. We're happy to sit back.
Strengths,
and but actually, right now, we'll look like we're trying to score goals and we're trying to actually get some points out of the game rather than just holding on for one. At
It's
the end
bringing
of
the
day.
best out of him, isn't it?
So you look at Almiron, you look at Saint, you look at Callum Wilson. If you're playing attacking football, then you're going to get the best out of those players. So I don't think we can look back at the likes of the Brighton game and say, well, look, we're shit in that game because they were all probably shit.
No, that's a very good point.
Oh, they absolutely were.
Yeah, it was dreadful.
I think they're saying it could be 25 million, 30 million. I'm not saying, but if we don't sign him now and we'll get him on a loan deal, and let's just say he keeps the same form up, you don't sign him then because he will be worth.
Yeah.
God,
Or he goes back and
So
he's in the team.
club,
Isn't he?
the club right now have to be in a position where they're in touch with Arsenal, saying, right, let's get this business done at the very
This
start.
is Lee Charney you're talking about, though.
Exactly, I know that this is what frustrates you the most. But if they had any sort of brain cells between them, they will be making those negotiations right now for that to be signed like that as soon as the transfer window opens.
But if you're
There
a
we
proper
go.
club, you do that in the negotiations when you're getting them in on loan.
I know, but that works for both teams, doesn't it? So Newcastle might be in a position where you're thinking like, oh, we'll get him on loan, and then his loan period is shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be obligated to buy him.
No, but at least you have first refusal. That if it works out fine, you'll say, right, if this goes well and he meets a satisfactory level that we're looking for, then we'll have an agreement in principle that,
That might be the
we'll
case.
sign him.
That might be the case for all we know.
I know that and listen, I'm quite happy to sit and bash on about Johnny all night, but we haven't been disastrous when it comes to loan. I mean, Dubravka, I'm sure Rafa said in the programme, I remember saying that.
Yeah, we signed him straight
Charlie
away, didn't we?
because there was a loan deal with a fee agreed at the end.
Yeah.
So we're signing him for buttons. And I'm not saying we're far from great in the transfer window. That's true, but we haven't always made disasters, right? Like we've made the odd good try. I mean, we bought Wilson for Christ's sake. I never thought we'd buy him. Like we don't always have disasters. And I do think that the bottom line is if Arsenal don't want him, right, he will definitely be on loan next season here because he's flourished here. And Arsenal will be thinking, hang on, he's going to start there. He's clearly having a great time there. It's fantastic for that player's development. The team that loses out in the long run is us. Because yes, we might get the benefit of him next season, but then he will go.
But you've also got you're running the risk of he's surely got to be catching other clubs' eyes as well, though.
No, I agree. But when a player's settled here and getting minutes here, Arsenal are going to go, let's send him to Wolves. Why?
Yeah.
You would just say, yeah, crack on, mate, same again, have another year, come back.
And you would think if we're in competition to sign him on a permanent, you'd think that hopefully we will try and match whatever they're bidding as well.
I think the player.
You hope so. That's exactly what you want.
Yeah, but a player that you know, because every signing's a risk, aren't they? Every signing that you don't know if it's going to work or they're going to fit in the dressing room or the culture of the club as it is. They've had him look at him for whatever it is now. Will be 6 months by the end of the season, let's say. And they'll be saying, right, we know that he fits. When he seems like the area, we know that he gets on well with the. I watched a video. It was him and Callum Wilson doing a Zoom thing earlier in the day.
That's right.
He seems to get on well with the team, so it's not a. I think you mitigate that risk a little bit by doing that. So I think it. Like Chris says, if Wolves say, right, there's £30 million, Newcastle should be going, right, we must match that because we know that.
But have we got the money to match them? That's my worry.
Well, I mean, if we haven't, then how not?
Mike Ashley.
Well, that's the thing. We've got the money, but is it other prepared to? Yeah. That's as ever the issue, isn't it?
Which historically we know that they don't like to.
No, I agree. Well, there's Jordan.
So
Mind he's starting to pay it back now.
3 and 5. 3 in his last 5 starts.
To be fair to him, apart from was it the first half Arsenal? He was dire. Was it?
I think it might be Arsenal.
Was it the Arsenal game? He was absolutely dreadful. We were all saying like obviously because he had some decent games, a couple of games before that where he looked all right.
I think if you take his penalty away from Friday, I don't think you're doing anything.
I can't really remember.
Yeah.
To be honest,
He's
dreadful. I thought.
Well, he wins a penalty as well.
He does okay. I'll give him that.
Wins a penalty as well.
Yeah,
So does he get the goal and the assist?
Let's give him them. It's all help me to and get me.
No,
Let's give
sure,
them.
yeah.
Right, quickly going forward.
Diabolical.
Yeah. So we concede twice.
defending.
Yeah, but dreadful.
Defending.
I forgot what about the game.
You cannot concede that close after scoring, man.
Twice.
Christ's
Twice.
sake. It's just,
Twice. And the only time we didn't vote with the second goal was because half time came.
Yeah,
It's the only time.
The intelligence of Torres, though, like I said earlier, though, the way he just hangs back that 2 or 3 steps.
Position wise,
and
just
stuff
right
like that.
place, right time.
He's
isn't it?
in the places and.
he's a good player, isn't he? He's a good player. And
Yeah,
I think especially for a tweet on saying he likes playing us and then he scored again and about a second later.
But it's great. He went there as a winger and he's playing like that up front.
I think the
Why can't we find players like that?
Well, I suppose when you've got a
he was
coach
only
like...
he was what, 20 million quid, if that?
When you've got a coach like Guardiola, though, you can
Well, that helps as well, like
nurture
that.
someone from being a winger in a centre
You've
forward.
got the service that like I know that he didn't play, like Riyad Mahrez, he didn't play on Friday, but that kind of quality in his team, like Ilkay Gundogan, I can't pronounce it, Gundogan playing behind you. Sterling, I don't think Sterling was very
Sterling's
good.
actually
Nah, he was absolutely rotten.
He's really good until he gets in the final third. He seems to fall a bit.
And as much as we slagged off Murphy for their 2 goals, I think he played very well against Sterling.
Sterling
didn't give him a sniff.
He's been very good. I don't think he played the Champions League final for them. That's a 4 from Grace.
The commentators were saying that
He
as
did
well.
say
Like,
that, didn't he?
yeah.
So sorry, we're talking Man City podcast. Apologise.
No, it's fine.
But yeah, so 3-3, and then which was such a kick in the teeth, wasn't it? Like, you know, I thought, Christ, we've just, you know, we're from behind, we're winning the game now. Can we just stay solid? Bam. I hadn't even sat back down, man, and it was 3-3.
Yeah. But
Concentration, man.
you can't say that, but it did look like Man City stepped it up a little bit and thought, right, let's go win this now. They did start playing a hell of a lot better.
They just started playing forward, didn't they?
I think it just showed you when that full-time whistle went, and you saw scenes of Willock where he just falls to the ground thinking, fuck, like they literally did. Our lads put as much effort as we could expect into going against Man City, who had just been crowned champions.
Well,
they really did.
I totally agree. I think there's something else, regardless of what people want to say about the opposition and what their mentality was at the time. If you had went into them 2 games, Leicester and Man City, and says that we scored 7 goals, I would have said you've been playing FIFA, like.
yeah, right.
Because we scored 7 goals against Leicester and Man City. Well, you know, we didn't win both of them, but I still.
We're giving it a good bloody go, though.
We did, right, and that's what we've sat around here and so many times where, you know, we didn't lay a glove on them. I say that every week. Didn't lay a glove on them. And do you know what it is? We'll lay a glove on them. And I'd say that's all you can really ask for at the end of the day.
Yeah. No.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think right. It was to score 7 against 2 good sides as well. FA Cup winners, league winners this season, like, so you know that need mugs. It is pretty good going. I mean, conceding 6 against them is a little bit concerning maybe, but
Still scored more.
beating both on aggregate.
It's back to Keegan days, isn't it? You can score 4, but we'll score 6.
You get man.
There's a few comments. I'm just looking at those. I do apologise, we can't put them on the screen yet. But there's a couple of comments there about Arsenal saying that they apparently want Freddie Woodman, obviously to join them, and obviously discussions could it involve the likes of Willock going one way, and Freddie Woodman going the other way. I wouldn't say so, because obviously you're not going to get 30 million for Freddie Woodman, are you? Let's be honest.
I don't know, he's had a very good season.
You're not getting 30 million.
No, not 30 million. Like, he's not going to go for like £2.50 though, is he?
Well, no, but there's a big difference between £2.50 and 30 million.
What I mean is he's going to command a
million.
Come on, he's got to go for more than that.
Like, how much do you reckon? 5. He's an unproven goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Yeah, but look at the season he's had at Swansea. Well, in fact, longer, 2 seasons.
Yeah, he has been fantastic.
Very, very good.
He has been.
He's won the Golden Glove. He's won the Player of the Season. He's the Championship Goalkeeper of the Season.
Have you just made that one up? Or
No,
do you
no,
know that? All right, okay.
It's definitely true.
You sure?
If you say it with enough
Has he just
confidence.
changed his little meter thing off his gloves to the other goalkeeper and just rake them stuff,
So Arsenal wouldn't be interested in him if he wasn't
that is correct,
performing in that manner.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
To Chris's question though, so would you
is
say...
he worth 20 million? No.
So would it be him and 10 million then for Willock? Are you rating him at that then, 10?
Do you know what it is?
Probably a bit more. Maybe
maybe
6-7 million.
Oh, for Woodman?
Yeah.
He's still pissed, but I thought you meant 6 or 7 for Willock.
But then I think the frustrating thing is Darlow's probably, well, best he's made Darlow is going to be... You'd probably expect him to go at the end of this season.
I'd rather get shot at him and keep Woodman.
Exactly.
It's not fair on Woodman.
Yeah, I would have thought, yeah.
I think we're probably all in agreement with that one. But is Woodman going to come back to sit on the bench? But he's probably sitting on the bench as well for Arsenal.
He's not going to take Bert Leno's place.
Exactly.
I don't think he's a Premier League team like Mark says. I think it was Decker said he's unproven in the Premier League. Is there a Premier League team that would take the risk on him? Even the teams that are coming up. Norwich got Tim Krul. Watford is Gomez still? Oh, he retired, didn't he? Gomez.
I can't remember.
Ben Foster at Watford.
The other thing, though,
it's Swansea if they go up, it's Woodman.
Is obviously his dad's been the coach at Arsenal for the last 3 years, hasn't he?
Is he there? Is he?
Yeah.
Who?
Well, he's just left. I think he's just taking a manager's job.
Who?
Woodman's dad.
Woodman's dad.
He's at Arsenal now.
He's at Arsenal.
Is he called Freddie as well?
Have you just made that up as well?
Andy Woodman.
Andy Woodman, that's right. Yeah.
Andy Woodman's Arsenal goalkeeper coach.
Oh.
I think he might have just left to take a manager's job.
He probably left in 1944.
Is Wetherspoon?
No, yeah. If he hasn't left, he's still there. Obviously. He's Arsenal.
If he hasn't left, he's still there.
But he's definitely was or still is the Arsenal goalkeeping coach.
I didn't know he was there like that.
Well, he was until he left.
If he hasn't left, he's still
Because
there.
I am sure he's.
You don't yourself, mate. You haven't got a
I'm
game.
95% sure he's taken, maybe 90% sure that he's taken a manager's job recently.
Apparently, there's people saying it is true.
There you are,
He's
see?
now manager of Bromley.
There you go. See,
Bromley.
you shouldn't
Bromley.
doubt me. So he left the Arsenal goalkeeping coach's job to go and be the manager of Bromley.
Right, okay.
There you go.
Okay. Sorry, mate.
So I was right. So was I right there? Was
You were
I?
correct. You
I
were
was
correct.
right. Yeah,
right,
I
yeah.
thought I
You
was.
were correct that one
Man,
time.
you had your bets. He's either there or he's not. You can't claim that.
We should get like a little chalkboard just to write, like, just tell you how many times you were right. Be very small
A broken
chalkboard.
clock's right twice a day.
Off the scale.
Boys, I've got. Is anything else? Anybody else want anything to mention? Obviously, we've got a game which we're going to be attending. Well, someone attending on Wednesday. Yeah, we're back in St James's Park in 2 days' time.
This time in 24 hours.
What do you think the
it'll all
reception
be
was?
over?
What do you
No,
think the
it's only
reception-
Monday today.
No one's Monday.
No, back on the wrong column.
Cross that off the
That's 24. I'm in
chalkboard.
40 years.
Back on the wrong column.
Wednesday.
Do you think
can
he'll
you-
still get grief or what? What do you think?
He fucking certainly will.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Absolutely.
'Cause I definitely
Don't think.
He either will or he won't, though, won't he? I mean,
Yeah, he will.
I
Unless
can guarantee he will get grief
Nah,
unless
from
he
me.
doesn't.
I think it will be. Honestly, 10,000.
It's just typical Newcastle
We can't
United.
get 50,000 to make a noise, so 10,000.
It's going to be typical Newcastle
It's
United
gonna
where we've
be-
had
it's-
some great
It's going to be weird
performances.
though, isn't it? Because I get what you're saying, because you're like I'm really excited about going back, but you temper that with the fact is that it's Newcastle and it's going to be shit, because it's been shit all season.
Well, that's what I'm
except
saying.
like a small spells of games.
It will be
but-
typical Newcastle where the last couple of games where we've actually scored goals, we'll go in against Sheffield and
Well,
we'll
that's
be
Sheffield
absolute
United.
horseshit.
We'll play like we played
We'll
against
be
Brighton.
horseshit.
Well, they won as well yesterday, didn't they?
So-
They won 1-0, didn't they? Yesterday.
Brighton played quite well as well.
But look,
the
it's
weekend.
it's just great to be going back, isn't it?
Palace will be in Villa, I think.
They got
Yes.
one, didn't they?
Yeah,
They won 2-1,
Palace won 3-2.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But yeah, it is typical Newcastle where we'll go on Wednesday and it'll be absolute garbage. And if it is, that's when you'll probably hear.
Yeah, so
It's one of those weird things where, like, you know, when we've had protests in the past and something on Twitter feels absolutely massive, and then you get in the ground and just there's no one's interested because it hasn't kind of permeated to the kind of fan base. I wonder if that might be the thing with Steve Bruce, because all we've had for the last 16 months or so, what's it now, May, 14 months, is like people on Twitter saying, we don't like Steve Bruce. There's been back and forth with journalists. With
Well,
other
everybody that
fans, with-
Steve Bruce speaks to in the street are congratulating on how
Apparently
good a job
so.
that he's done.
Apparently so.
That's his son, Alex.
I actually think that would be the case. I honestly
I
do.
wouldn't be shocked if, like, you go there and expect full of fire and brimstone on Wednesday night or tomorrow night with Mark's case, and and just
I'm getting there. Yeah? Make sure I don't miss it.
You have mind that because of COVID, you have got to.
Do you know what it is?
You've got to get in there. You've got to get in there early.
24 hours early.
You know, just making sure.
Do you know, like, when you walk into Northumberland Street and you see all the kids, like, queuing up for the new shoes? On
easy.
board tomorrow.
I've got me sleeping bag in the car. I'm going to go and hang out outside the Gallowgate corner.
Yeah, so I am excited for that one. Me and Adam.
And we'll get to go at the pub.
We do get to go to the pub, so me and Adam are going for breakfast and pints at probably around about 9 o'clock
I'm joining you
on
at
Wednesday
lunchtime.
morning. Then we're getting joined by more people on Wednesday. So
What's it, 6 o'clock kickoff?
6 o'clock kickoff. Yeah,
Shit time, that,
6 o'clock kickoff. So depending on how drunk we are, we might be back in here Wednesday evening, but probably not.
Just to sleep.
Probably not, to be honest with you. These two lads have got the jabs
What time's yours?
on Wednesday.
Oh, mine's 9:30 in the morning.
Mine's at half time.
Oh, yeah.
Tap at 7, so
So I'll have a dead on probably. So
Yeah, so you might not see those two. But I'm going to wrap this one up tonight, boys. We've been going for an hour. Any further comments before we go?
we will be Sheffield United.
Isn't this lovely?
We'll beat Sheffield United. I'm going to say yes.
100%.
I think 2-0.
I'm going to say yes. 3-0.
Yeah, I was confident the last time
1-0.
as well. That we played
We're
Sheffield
going to
United.
get beat. Aren't we?
Yeah, probably. Thanks everybody for watching. I know we have had some technical issues. I do apologise for that one.
Rest his
Hopefully
feet.
the next one will be better. I'm pretty sure it was you chopping the desk.
I didn't touch that.
You were karate chopping your phone at one point.
I just want to
I'm
say
so irate about this.
It was Daniel. It was Daniel Sand there.
right. Thank you very much everybody for the last 12 months. It's been a pleasure to have you watching us and all the comments that we've had during lockdown. I know it's been difficult for everybody. We've tried our best to keep you entertained and keep on creating the content throughout, and it's not just from us four and Adam, it is from everybody on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel and podcast. There will be more things coming, and this studio will be open to everybody on the channel. Not members, he was going to just come in and just chill. But anybody who does do videos for the channel, it will be getting used in the future, and not straight away, because we do need to work out some things out as well. But it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you
catch us on the
everybody.
90-minute network.
Yeah, thank you boys for coming and being a part of this as well. Thank you for Adam for being behind the scenes, fixing everything when it's been going wrong. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you later.
Tis warm, like, isn't it?
Oh my